like to start from backwards up, since that's what's fresh in our minds right now. When you do talk about how we build a wall and we're trying to avoid the rivers and harming the environment, then that would mean that the cost would also increase, because in a study from Konstantin Kakes, an editor at MIT Technology Review, she states how at 50 feet tall, 10 feet below ground, a 1,000-mile wall will cost around $30 billion. That price would keep increasing. So, and also another point that the opponent did state earlier, how immigrants did have costs that outweigh the building of the wall. This would just add on to the building of the wall costs, which probably level or even surpass the costs that the immigrants are supposedly bringing. A point that the first constructive affirmative did talk about was, or let's go to the first point. The point that they talk about was how there was going to be enrollment and how there's going to be overcrowding and budget problems and also teacher shortages. And I'd like to also restate how my partner did introduce the idea of how we could implement the cost of the wall towards the education, to hire more teachers. Again, like how the second affirmative speaker did talk about how the LAP students did not all get proper education, how one teacher taught, the amount of teachers only taught one LAP student, that could be increased. And also portable classrooms, those are still classrooms. And a point that my partner did state how undocumented children of illegal immigrant parents are entitled to equal education, because that's humane. It's the right thing to do. So instead of building a wall that does cost a lot and can possibly or possibly not keep out immigrants, I feel that the money should be allocated towards better resources such as education, fixing the classrooms, and also hiring more teachers. Another point that my opponent did make was there were some statements how the future benefits outweigh the negatives, and they were mainly cost related. But and then they touched upon the river problems, how they could build around the wall, but that's not all there is. In a study of why the border wall costs far outweigh the benefits by Vanda Babal, and she states how the wall has significant environmental costs. Part of the borders are some of the continent's most significant wildlife corridors. Among the endangered species affected by the wall could be jaguars, Sonoran pronghorns, charaqua, leopard frogs, and the many negatively affected species would also include desert tortoise, black bears, desert mule, deer, variety of snakes, and also vital pollinators to help they migrate across the border. But with the wall in place, with the lights and the maintenance that they do have, they would not be able to cross, possibly not make it across to pollinate all the land and all the land that connects the southern to the Americas. So that means we would be potentially endangering environmental and the environment and also us as well, because this would affect the ecosystem and everything else inside of the environment. Some more solidification of the point one of how there are negative effects on public schoolings. In the same article that the opponents brought up, Christopher J. Dolly did state the California State Department of Education estimates that 16 new classrooms will need to be built every day for 7 days a week for 5 days, or for the next 5 years. And that's one school per day. The numbers of teachers will need to be doubled within 10 years, meaning that 300,000 new educators will be required. that's just in California, not towards the other states as well. So in the own article where they did bring up a point, the author did point out that there are problems within the education system that could be improved upon by allocating resources towards better purposes.